Hello, everyone. I'm Dijon,
I'm Amir.
and welcome to the Mustardcast, the podcast about the art of storytelling and how it's used across different mediums. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see our channel grow, and to click the notification bell so that you're notified when we post. As usual, you can start. Amir.
I watched the new Knives Out movie. I haven't seen the first movie, but the new one was really good.
Oh, I'm so glad you saw it because we're definitely talking about that later. Because I watched it too.
Okay.
I watched it. I think on Christmas Eve. So yeah.
I also watched it on Christmas Eve. It's hilarious. But yeah, it was pretty good. I haven't seen the first one, but I've been wanting to watch the first one, but it's on like no streaming services anywhere, so it's kind of hard to watch it. But I'll find it eventually and watch it. I'll probably buy it on DVD.
Yeah, I've been wanting to watch the first one as well. I haven't seen the first one either.
But yeah, the second one was really good. I really enjoyed it. I kind of figured out the twist.
Well, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that in the TV section, TV and film. So.
Okay. I've been playing a lot of For Honor. I don't know why. I was watching Zany, who's one of my favorite YouTubers. He's pretty funny. He does a lot of For Honor videos. He has a lot of random videos about like a lot of random games. Kind of hard to explain as a YouTuber unless you watch him. But he's been doing a lot. He's been doing For Honor videos for like years. And I never liked For Honor. I played it like a little bit a couple of years ago, and it was always like, this game sucks. But his videos made me want to like play it a little bit. So I've been playing it a little bit. I've been having some fun with it, but my god, Ubisoft needs to fix their games. This is probably one of the biggest examples I've seen of a developer, like a AAA developer, making a broken game, and I don't understand how they did this game this broken. Like assassin characters are supposed to be quicker and deal less damage, like a lot quicker and deal a lot less damage than like say Vanguard characters. But like, why are you intercepting my attacks, interrupting my animations, and then with light attacks and still dealing more damage than my heavy attacks? That doesn't make any sense to me. But you know, it's Ubisoft. You can't really expect too much from them, as much as it pains me to say. But I don't know. I'm having fun with it. The customization in this game is crazy. You can create some pretty like crazy looking characters. What else? As per every Christmas, I watch White Christmas because that is my favorite Christmas movie ever. And
What movie?
no, my second favorite movie. My favorite Christmas movie is White Christmas, and that will never change. But
wait, what movie did you say?
like that's White Christmas. I'm sorry, I lost track of my own thoughts. What did I just say?
What movie did you say you watched?
I watched White Christmas, right? I saw White Christmas.
Yeah, I think that's what you said.
Okay, that's strange. Anyway, I watch White Christmas on Christmas, as I always watch White Christmas on Christmas. I also watch Elf in theaters, which is crazy because I watch Elf every year. I love Elf, but I've never seen it in theaters ever because it came out in like 2003, and I was like 1 year old. So it was really crazy to actually watch it in theaters. That was awesome. I was really happy that I got to do that because that was like a once in a lifetime experience. And the person I took to go see it didn't like it, and I was really upset that she didn't like it because it's my favorite Christmas movie, or it's my second favorite Christmas movie, and it like means a lot to me. Like, you know, but it's okay. I had a lot of fun watching it in theaters, so that's what matters. I think that's about it. Yeah, the new Destiny Christmas event is out. I haven't been playing it, and I really wanted to, but like, I don't know. I do the thing with Destiny where like I'll play it for months and months and months on end, and then just not play it again for like 3 months, and that's kind of where I'm at right now. So I'm missing the Christmas event, but there's a shader I really want. I've been listening to the Dresden Files like crazy. I'm on book 10 now, and the only reason it's taking me this long to get to book 10 is because the audiobooks are like $20 each, and I'm trying to restrict myself to only buying one per pay session, but like I'll finish them in like 3 days, and as soon as I like finish one, I'll automatically buy the next one. That's a problem. But Dresden Files is great, and I have like a really good idea for a Dresden Files video game that I really like might actually learn like game development just to make this game because I don't see a reason that anybody else would make it. But yeah, that's it for me.
Yeah, so I also watched some Christmas stuff. I watched Klaus. I watched Ed, Ed and Eddy, Jingle Jingle Jangle, which I'll talk about both those things later, and I also watched Die Hard. But I finally saw Bullet Train. It was good.
Yes.
It was a fun movie. I liked it a lot. It was a very fun movie, very well filmed. The visuals.
That's my favorite movie of all time. I love that movie.
Movie's great. Doom Patrol's back. I think they're on 4 episodes so far. You know, I like Doom Patrol a lot. I feel like I didn't enjoy last season very much. It's still early in the season, and this season is having shades of the stuff I didn't like in the 3rd season. So I'm hoping it gets better because I feel like this show is just slowly going downhill for me. I feel like they haven't hit the highs of the first 2 seasons. Was it 2nd season of Sex Lives of College Girls is also airing on HBOmax, and that's been fun. I think they release 2 episodes a week, so only God knows what episode they're on now because I'm like 4 episodes behind. Still watching Batman the anime series and Superman the anime series. I recently watched the Flash and the Livewire episodes of Superman the anime series, and those were great, especially the Livewire one. Livewire is a character that could easily be the Harley Quinn equivalent for Superman because she was introduced in the animated series and before she entered the comics. And also, she just, Loki has a similar voice randomly. Like, her voice, Loki, she has a similar kind of, like, New Jersey accent for some reason. But, she's also just a really great villain. And I feel like she could be, just as popular. Not maybe just as popular as Harley Quinn, but relatively popular in comparison when it comes to Superman villains as Harley Quinn. And just the fact that she started off as, like, a radio host who essentially was the term that they used in that show was shock jock, was essentially sensationalism. I can never pronounce this word correctly the first time. Sensationalism. You know what I mean. You know what word I'm trying to say. And false information is essentially what she's spouting on the radio, and that's a perfect story to tell for not only like I feel like today's society, but also Clark being a reporter. And Lois as well. So yeah, it was a good episode. The last episode of Batman I watched was the Maxie Zeus episode, which was very good and like sad because Maxie Zeus just believes he's Zeus, and it's very like he literally is like he went to Arkham at the end naturally, but like it really just shows you like this guy is sick and he needs help. And he's not going to get the help that he needs in Arkham Asylum. It was so sad. It was very sad. In terms of games, I've been playing Metal Gear Solid 3 again. I jumped back into it, and randomly David Hayter and Cam Clark, who voiced Solid Snake and Liquid Snake respectively, did a Metal Gear Solid rendition of Mr. Grinch that is amazing. It is really good, and they do it in their characters' voices. It's very good. It was the first thing that I saw this winter that really got me in the holiday spirit because since the pandemic started, holiday spirit in both like just Christmas and Halloween, it just hasn't been very high. It hasn't been the heights that it used to be. I don't really see people as excited for the holidays as they were before the pandemic started. But that got me in a good mood. And I've been playing I finished playing The Last of Us Part 1. Both the main story and the Left Behind DLC just in time for the HBO series, which is releasing on January 15th. But I've also been playing Dishonored and Hades. Hades because Hades 2 is coming out at some point. I think it's probably going to go into early development next year. I'm pretty sure, but I'm not going to play it in early development. I'm going to wait for the full game to come out probably the following year or maybe a couple years after that. And Dishonored, game's fun.
Just because Dishonored, that's amazing.
Yeah. Moving on to animation, Justice League and Justice League Unlimited are leaving HBO Max on January 31st. Jesus Christ, someone get David Zaslav out of there. They are removing Justice League and Justice League Unlimited.
That just doesn't make any sense. Why?
The same reason they've been removing everything else for tax write-offs.
Why where else is it gonna go? Like, that just doesn't make any sense.
That's the thing. It's not going nowhere. Luckily, unlike all of those other Cartoon Network shows that they took off HBO Max, because this show has been around for over 20 years at this point, or around 20 years actually. It already has DVD releases and Blu-ray releases. So luckily, you can find this physically online. You can order it off Amazon. And I was 5 seconds away from purchasing both series on Blu-ray. And also, I was low-key was like, okay, you know what? I'm also going to get Batman and Superman, because who knows when they're going to remove those. I was like, I was so upset, because I told myself, if they ever remove Batman the Animated Series, I think I'm going to be done with HBOmax. I think it's going to be over for me. If they ever decide to remove Batman the Animated Series, I'm going to be so upset. And honestly, I might just buy Batman the Animated Series on DVD just because. Because this is.
I have the whole series on DVD.
This is ridiculous. It's a very dumb decision. Those are two of the best DC shows on the face of the planet Earth. I can't believe it. It's not gone yet though. It's gone on 31st. So if you guys want to try and check it out before it's gone, they're great shows. You definitely don't need any. You don't need to watch any other shows beforehand. Just make sure you watch Justice League the Animated Series first, then watch Justice League Unlimited. Because they're essentially the same show, and Justice League is first, and then it leads into Unlimited. But yeah, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, there was a second trailer. They revealed that it's releasing June 2nd, because it was delayed about like 6 months, because it was supposed to come out. It's supposed to have been out by now. And there was a concept art revealed of a baby Mayday Parker. And in the trailer, you see that Peter has like one of those like things that hold babies on his chest, but like nothing's in it, and either the baby's gone or like they like edited the baby out, which actually it has recently become illegal to do that. Did you know that?
Illegal to edit babies out?
No, it has become illegal to do things like
mislead the trailers. No, I have seen that.
Yeah, like how Marvel tends to show scenes but will cut out certain characters or make things look different. Like, it is illegal to do that. And honestly, that makes sense. Because the reality is, the simple solution is to just not show it. You don't have to, like, start lying to people. You can just not show it. And I think it's an understandable thing. It never bothered me personally, but it's understandable because, you know, I feel like that could have easily gotten out of control by other people other than Marvel, where people could just blatantly lie in their trailers and then you go see the movie and it's nothing like the trailer.
I was gonna say, I don't think it mattered much to me, like, if you edit it, as long as you're not marketing it to be a completely different movie than it actually is.
To me, I feel the same way.
That's where I'd be like, all right, well, now something has to be done.
Yeah, I feel like the door was open for that, but now it's closed. So now that potential isn't even there anymore. But yeah, trailer didn't really show too much. I feel like people, because I get it, Spider-Verse is a great movie, but people are like hyping this trailer up so bad because I get it, you're excited for the movie, but if I'm being honest, it wasn't that good of a trailer. Maybe it's just me.
No, it's just you. That's definitely
it's just me, bro. I'm excited for the movie, don't get me wrong, but like that trailer wasn't that good to me. It's like, okay, they showed a bunch of different Spider-Man. Okay, I'm sorry, I see Spider-Man stuff all the time. Like, seeing all these different Spider-Man didn't like get me like more. It didn't get me more excited. I'm already excited. It just didn't do anything to get me more excited. Like, I am just at the same level of excitement I was before. I don't feel like they showed much that interested me personally. Honestly, I don't feel like they showed me anything I didn't already know. I guess other than Mayday, and that's interesting. But I don't know, I don't know why. I usually would get so excited about Peter Parker having a child like he should in the comics. But for some reason, that reveal didn't really hit. I don't know. But moving on to new Avatar series. So there are rumors that a new Avatar animated series focusing on the Earth Avatar after Korra is reportedly in development and will premiere in 2025. A lot of people are assuming, based on the life expectancies that we've seen from Avatars, that the series could potentially take place in like the time periods around ours. If I had to guess, it might take place somewhere between the 80s and now, which is very broad.
I was thinking like the 60s or 70s.
But like, it depends on how long they want Korra to have lived. because I mean, avatars be living like 100 to like 100. So I would.
What if it takes place in the future? What if we get a cyberpunk avatar?
No, that's not. At least not yet.
I'm not saying with this one. I'm saying like in like the far future, like 10 years from now. What if we get like a cyberpunk avatar?
Maybe. Who knows?
That's not impossible.
Maybe by the time we get a cyberpunk avatar, the world will actually be cyberpunk.
That'd be weird.
It would be.
That'd be meta.
But something I know I mentioned to you before is that I would like for the next avatar to go on a journey, at least one season to really go on a journey that travels through the spirit world. And I would like for them to go on a journey through the spirit world where they have to reconnect with the past avatar lives that Korra lost, because I hated that decision so bad. I don't even want to go on that tangent. I could talk about how, as much as I love a lot of Korra, that second season, bro. That second season, it's not good. It's just not good. There's some good ideas there.
I love the second season. I still hate the fact that they disconnected her from all the previous Avatar lives. I thought it was one of the dumbest decisions I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, we talked about it before, but like the what was it, Avatar 1? I forget what the name of those episodes were, but the episodes about the first Avatar are simultaneously some of the best episodes of Avatar: The Last Airbender and the worst for me personally, because it introduced stuff that I feel like ruined previous things in the lore, like how spirits, for example. I've said this before. I said I wasn't going on a tangent, but you know how we do in this podcast. We go in Harry Potter's all the time. But it sucks that we call them Harry Potters. and then like the world discovered that J.K. Rowling was a TERF like not too long after that, and I was like, well, I'm gonna stick with it though. But essentially what I don't like is that the introduction of Rava and Vatu removed, I feel like, the individuality of the spirits, and the fact that evil spirits didn't become evil because some personification of all evil in the world turned them evil. They became evil because their emotions overtook them, and it was essentially due to themselves that they became evil, not some outside force. Technically, it is an outside force in the sense that, like the first evil spirit we see, it's because the force was destroyed and they become evil because they're angry. But that is still based around their own emotions, not some outside force forcing them to become evil like Vatu does. And I just don't like that. I also don't like the idea that they constantly show the yin yang symbol, the place where the two portals that are on opposite poles of the earth is in the shape of a yin yang symbol, and they show it several times, and they allude to that several times. And yin yang is having, balance between good and bad, dark and light. But the whole point of that season is to just destroy the dark. Whereas I think it should have been that she needs both, that she should have taken both Rava and Vatu. But also the idea of these two spirits that represent good and evil, like I said, I don't think fits. And I think that instead it should have been two spirits that represent good and evil, but in an abstract sense, not in a very direct sense, in the sense that, Vatu was trying to fight back against the humans who were hurting them whenever they left out of their towns, whereas Rava was more of the peaceful, let's just, keep to ourselves type person, and that led to conflict rather than it being, like I said, just straight up personification of light, personification of darkness. Like, I don't know. That's just my personal thing. I'm gonna leave that alone. You want to say anything about that before we move on?
Not really. I just don't think that it was the right decision to have her disconnect from all the previous Avatar lives. I've said that a million times, and I will continue to say that for the end of time.
Yeah. So I watched Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio on Netflix. And it was,
I did see that.
Yeah, it was a very fun and heartfelt film. Very interesting twist on a classic tale. Instead of being about,
I did not like it.
You said what?
I said I did not like it.
Oh, really? So, rather than being about like how bad lying is and the consequences of being a bad kid, it's about Pinocchio being an unyielding source of light that doesn't need to change and instead changes the people around him. There's a 30-minute behind the scenes documentary about the creation of Pinocchio that really opened my eyes to how far the medium of stop motion animation has come, because this is stop motion animated. And was Guillermo purposely hired Mexican animators to animate parts of the film to demonstrate the capacity of Mexican animators. He himself being Mexican. Something he says a lot that we always say on this podcast is that animation isn't a genre; it's a medium and an art craft. And I just wanted to highlight that. This great filmmaker has said it. So, film industry, TV industry, you need to recognize that it is a medium, not a genre. It can you can tell adult stories in animation if you want to. Why didn't you like it?
Pinocchio's voice is grating on the ears. He was an incredibly little brat. I really did not like that movie at all. Pinocchio was an extremely annoying character.
We're talking about the same Pinocchio movie, right? We're not talking about that other Pinocchio movie.
Yeah, no, we're talking about the Guillermo del Toro stop motion one. He's literally made of wood, like out of a pine tree. That one, no. Okay.
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
No, I really hate that movie.
I like the designs of Death and the Tree Sprite, I think is what the other one's called. They look cool. Those blue spirits. No relation to Avatar. Moving on. Something I wanted to talk about last episode, but we didn't have enough time for, was this epiphany I had about anime and manga, right? So, White Manga, a YouTuber and manga artist and co-creator of Saturday AM, which is a American-based manga publisher that publishes diverse manga, and he made a video about what is manga and the hate that his company got recently from racist people about having the first the first black girl manga protagonist. And if you want to hear more about that latter segment, I suggest you go check out the video. It's very insightful. I'll put the name of the video up on YouTube, but you can honestly just go to White Manga on YouTube and you'll probably find it very quickly. It's one of his most recent videos. But here I'm going to focus on the part about like what's a manga, right? At one point in the first episode where we had a guest on with my friend Eric, or our friend Eric, also known as Jump Boy on social media. He does the artwork for all of our posts, and as well as the overlay I use for the podcast itself. I talked about what I thought manga was or anime was, and like how I was really trying to dig deep and try to research and figure out like I see a difference, and there's a difference there somewhere, but it's hard for me to really put my finger on. And this video really helped me put my finger on it and get to a point where I was like, okay, that's what it is. Whereas I feel like in that previous episode, I kind of leaned towards kind of a bit of an ignorant perspective on it. But now after around over a year or something like that at this point since that episode, I've really had time to think about it. And the epiphany I've came to is that we should really start describing manga, Japanese comics versus Western comics, and anime as styles. And what I mean by that is that at the end of the day, manga and anime are comics and cartoons. We all know that. Some people like to pretend otherwise, but that is the case. Japanese people don't often differentiate between the two. To them, Spider-Man is a manga and Adventure Time is an anime. However, in countries outside of Japan, we like to differentiate them, and that's okay. I think there is a conversation to be had about the nuances between manga and other forms of comics. I mean, it's the conversation we're about to have right now. Because there is a difference that is derived from the different cultures, but a difference that can be accurately recreated, like White Manga, for example. I own the first two volumes of his manga, Apple Black, and reading it, it very much feels like, okay, if I didn't know, I would just assume this was made by a Japanese person. Like, if you put a Japanese name on this cover and told me it was made by a Japanese person, I would believe you. Because it feels like it was made by someone from that culture, or someone who understands that culture and the way that they tell their stories. They're essentially the same at their base level, but there's a difference in storytelling and artistic principles that make them warrant being differentiated. I think that saying comics is the medium and manga is the style, not genre, but style, is the way we could start referring to it that would help differentiate the two while still recognizing that it's not a genre. It's still just a part of that same medium. because every culture expresses their own unique style of storytelling in every medium. For example, French films, right? That is considered. People like to differentiate the difference between French films and other types of film. But at the end of the day, it still has the word film in it. It's still a film. It's just done in the style of the French. And these types of labels at the end of the day are used to let people know what they're getting into when they pick up like a book or look at a movie or a show. Similar to how genres are used, except that they're not genres, which I get can be a bit confusing. The lines between what is an anime and a cartoon or a manga and a comic get more blurred every day, and someday they may become so similar in every aspect that we come up with one unifying term across all cultures and languages. But until then, we should definitely stop treating them as different genres like some people do, because they aren't. And let's not restrict the creation of manga to Japanese people, because that argument falls apart real fast when you have creators outside of Japan who can accurately recreate the Japanese style of comic and animation. So, yeah, that's a bit of an epiphany I came to, that I felt like the word style was a very easy way to go to describe the difference between manga and Western comics. They're just different styles of comics. An American style of comic, Japanese style of comic, or like manhwa, which is like Korean style of comic. And recently we've been getting a lot of more media similar to that out of China. Like we're getting a lot of Chinese video games. We're starting to get some Chinese comics, some Chinese anime, like that one anime we talked about a while ago. I forget what it was called, but yeah. In the episode where Takira was on, we talked about an anime out of China. But yeah, any thoughts?
Not really. You completely went just in a completely different direction than what I was expecting.
What was you expecting?
Not that. That's for sure.
Was there nothing that popped in your head when I said that? What was your?
No.
I mean, that's not.
Not really. No.
That's not what you were expecting. But you weren't expecting anything.
I don't know what I was expecting, but it certainly wasn't that. That's probably the best way to put it.
Okay. Well, moving
on. I didn't know you watched Wyatt Manga, though.
You said what?
I said I didn't know you watched Wyatt Manga, though.
Oh yeah, I've been watching Wyatt Manga almost since he started, really. Moving on to comics. So I've been reading some Naruto, not OG, but some new stories. So there've been some spin-offs, for lack of a better term, being written. So I've been reading Naruto, Sasuke's story, and Naruto Konoha's story, which Sasuke's story obviously is focused on Sasuke, but also Sakura. It's I don't know if I said this before, or I think I talked about this a little bit before, but it's kind of what I wanted from a continuation of Naruto. It takes place in a country we've never seen before, and we get some great Sakura moments to get the action. Excuse me, why did I write it this way? I'm gonna cut that. But we get some great Sasuke and Sakura moments and get to actually see the romance between the two, because when they get together, it's so weird. Because I'm like, this makes no sense at all. Like, he's never there, and then this comic, I feel like, is them going out of the way to go, okay, see, look, they work, and I'm like, okay, I see it a little bit, I guess. But this comic is also more it's more ninja stuff. It's more espionage and intel gathering than it is action, and it's showing off more of just Sasuke and Sakura's intelligence than combat prowess, which is pretty interesting. Konoha's story is about Kurenai and Asuma's daughter, Mirai, going on a mission to escort Kakashi and Guy. On the way, they run into Kiba and his girlfriend during a festival that is about a cat and a dog, where villagers argue over whether a cat or a dog is their god. And Kiba, obviously being a dog person, believes that the dog and his girlfriend is a cat person, causes them to argue. It's more of a comedy than the Sasuke story is. But yeah, they've been fun. I'm enjoying it, and I'm like, man, give me more of this. This is what I want from Naruto. I don't care about their kids. I'm sorry. I wanted more stories with those characters, because Sasuke eventually became essentially the second main character, but other characters like Lee and Tamari, not Tamari, but Tenten. She got disrespected very early on in the series, but those characters we never got a lot about, and I would like to see more of. Seeing more about these side characters is very fun. Last comic I got is Nubia, Queen of the Amazons. I haven't been reading too many comics. But I wanted to finish up a few that I had in my backlog. So Nubia's past comes back to haunt her when she discovers that the person who caused the mudslide and attacked her was a person she knew before dying and being resurrected on Themyscira. In her previous life, Nubia's name was Zahaba, and she was a princess of Madagascar. She was in line to take over the throne, but wanted to be a warrior instead, and was blessed by a necklace of Sekhmet, the Egyptian god, which gave her enhanced abilities. But she was murdered by a scorned lover who then killed her parents and took over Madagascar, making it a living hell. Yeah, it was a lot. So
you took like 10 L's in a row. Like, that's actually kind of crazy.
Yeah. So making it a living hell for its citizens. Zilla, who was a little girl at the time, back when she was still in her Nubia's previous life, killed the usurper and took the necklace, and it essentially gave her enhanced abilities as well, and so she lived longer, and she's been alive for, I don't even know, because they don't really say when it took place, back when Nubia went by Zahava, but it feels like it was like centuries ago. So if Zilla presumably was alive centuries, and now she wants revenge against Nubia for failing her, the citizens of Madagascar. Yeah, it was good. It was only 4 issues, Nubia, Queen of the Amazons. We'll see what they do with Nubia from here on out. She's a great character. I've been loving everything with Nubia. The past few different stories she's had. But yeah, moving on to TV and film.
For TV and film, I completely forgot to add, I started watching a show on Netflix and I finished it in one day. It's called The Recruit. You should really watch it. It is so good. It's about this lawyer who's like fresh out of law school in Washington, D.C. who gets recruited by the CIA to be a lawyer.
Oh yeah, I saw a trailer for this.
Yeah, it's so good. And when I say, like, I did not get out of bed that day. I had a birthday party to go to. I did not get out of bed that day to like go to the birthday party until like 5 minutes until the party was about to start, because I just wanted to stay in bed and watch that show and like finish it. It is so good. It's really funny, but like there's a lot of serious moments too. I highly recommend it to everybody. It is such a good show.
Yeah, I might check it out eventually. But starting off TV and film section, Henry Cavill is out as Superman despite just coming back, but he is in Warhammer. So Henry Cavill confirmed on his IG that he had a meeting with James Gunn and Peter Safran and was told that he will not be returning as Superman, despite being told in October to officially announce it. However, Gunn said in a tweet that in that meeting they talked about a number of exciting possibilities to work together in the future. So with the existence of the multiverse, a reboot doesn't necessarily mean the end of the Snyderverse or Henry Cavill as Superman, or a lot of the other characters and actors from that universe. But it does mean that for now we're not going to see them again, or at least a lot of them. So James Gunn also announced that he is writing a Superman movie and that it will take place in his younger days. He will be writing the project, not directing it, and they are currently looking for a director. He has confirmed that it is not an origin film. But yeah, seeing how he has done a good job working on superhero team films specifically, I wouldn't be surprised if it was a Superman and the Legion of Superheroes story. I feel like that would be very fun. But
that would be rather interesting. Not at all where I was thinking, but that would be interesting.
What were you thinking?
So I was thinking something similar in the vein of Man of Tomorrow, the Tomorrowverse movie. Just something more like bringing Superman back to his roots as a character, but like taking place early in his career, not an origin story. But I was not thinking these are the superheroes at all.
Yeah, I think Legion of Superheroes could be fun in live action. But last but certainly not least, Henry Cavill is attached to star in and executive produce a Warhammer series on Amazon. Now, this is probably part of why he left The Witcher. Combined with the fact he didn't like the way they were treating the source material, and he thought that he was Superman again. So I feel like those things combined, he was like, you know what, I'm done with The Witcher. But yeah, that's interesting. I know last time we talked about Warhammer a little bit because they showed some stuff at the Game Awards and how you've been getting into the lore recently. So what do you think?
I'm not excited for a Warhammer show, like even remotely. The lore is somewhat interesting. I don't think it's interesting enough to carry a show. Personally, I know that's going to upset a lot of Warhammer fans if anybody like actually watches this. But I'm not. I don't think that it's strong enough to carry its own show. I haven't read any of the books. I know there are a lot of books. But Warhammer to me is too. There's not much of a centralized, focused story. You could probably make a centralized, focused story, but everything in Warhammer, a lot of the appeal of Warhammer is the fact that everything is so huge and outrageous and outlandish. I just don't think there's enough story material to work. I've played recently one of the Warhammer games, one of the old Warhammer games, and it's not. I don't think the story is really there. There's potential for one, maybe, but I don't know. I have to hear more about what this Warhammer show is going to be, what it's going to be about, to actually like be on board for it. But I just don't think. I don't think there's enough there to like, carry a show.
I think there's more than enough there to carry a show. League of Legends didn't have anything but the bit of lore from the stuff, like certain things on bios on their website, and as well as the various different animated trailers and stuff that they had. And who knows, maybe they have some.
League of Legends is also smaller. League of Legends is also considerably smaller scale in their lore and in their universe than Warhammer is.
Barely. There are so many characters. There is so much in that world that we barely scratch the
surface. That's not what I mean by scale.
Arcane. But when it comes to story potential, the scale of like from like planet to universe doesn't matter. It's about the characters, and they have a lot of characters and story to tell. If they can try and translate that to a series, then Warhammer can. I think Warhammer has more than enough material to work off of. I think that I don't understand how. I really don't get where you're coming from because I feel like they have more than enough material to work off of.
I'm saying I don't think that there's enough of a focus there to make a show. Warhammer is about billions and billions and billions of people as collectives and as species moving together against specific threats. Then you have things like the Imperium Man, the like God. Oh my God!
The more you talk about it, the more you just convince me that it can work. All it takes is someone to streamline it.
It might be able to work. I don't see that it can. Personally, from how I've looked at the lore, how I've like watched lore videos, what I understand about the lore, I don't see it working. But then I don't know anything about this show, so like I said, I would have to hear more about it.
All right, so Donald Glover is set to star and produce a Spider-Man villain spin-off film titled Hypno Hustler. Donald Glover says that he's interested in the musical aspect of the character and the fact that he's a less well-known Marvel character and doesn't have as much baggage. He says. The project could be anything from a disco period piece to a reimagined modern hip-hop version, or even a cyberpunk future play, which is interesting to hear. I like stuff that Donald Glover makes, so I'll definitely check it out whenever it comes around. I think after I heard this, I started watching. Why is my brain not working? Atlanta, and I'm close to finishing it. I'm on the what's that show called? The Goofy movie episode, which I know that sounds weird, but I'm excited to watch that episode. I might watch that episode after this podcast while I eat lunch. But So I saw Avatar: The Way of Water, and I've been a fan of I'm a fan of the first Avatar film. Most people found the story and characters boring and weren't a fan of the white saviorism, and I agree completely. But it was the world of Pandora that I really grew to love. And I felt like the story was just good enough to keep me interested. Avatar 2, excuse me, give me a second. Avatar 2, I feel like elevates a lot of the stuff from the first movie in terms of characters and story and makes all of that stuff much more engaging and interesting. But at the end of the day, it is, of course, still the visuals as well as the world building that really held my attention. A lot of cutting edge CGI and like building new systems, as well as introducing a whole new tribes of the Navi and like these water tribes that feels like they're heavily inspired by like Pacific Islanders and like yeah, just that whole group of people based on specifically the way that they work. Not excuse me, not the way they work, the way that they speak. Um, it just feels like it's based on that, and I feel like it's clear as day that Navi were based on like native people here in the Americas. So yeah, it just I like it a lot. Honestly, I really like the movie. It's longer than the first movie. The first movie is just shy of 3 hours. This one is longer than 3 hours, at 3 hours and 10 minutes. So I hate that long movies don't have intermissions, because I probably would have. I don't drink stuff when I go to movies because water just goes right through me, and I don't want to have to get up and use the bathroom and miss stuff. So I wish there were intermissions where I could do that. Like I could drink water and then get up and go use the bathroom at some point. But I like the movie a lot. I saw this review that called it from the Slate. The review was by Dana Stevens, who described it as history's most costly nature documentary. And honestly, that's pretty accurate because it still has the themes of colonialism as well as environmentalism all throughout it. And I feel like it's attempting to tell a pretty good tale when it comes to that type of thing, because it's a classic tale of, in this story, the humans have damn near destroyed Earth. Before, I think they were close, but now it's confirmed that they have, and they're coming back to Pandora to not just mine for resources, but to create a permanent place for humans to live now. But yeah, I enjoyed the movie a lot. I know you're not the biggest fan of the Avatar film. Does this movie even interest you in the slightest, even if when it comes to Disney Plus?
Not at all. I rewatched the first one a couple weeks ago, I think, maybe like a week and a half ago. And I have an even lower opinion of it than I did the first time I watched it. It's just boring. Like, it is incredibly boring.
That's fair. I completely get that. I watched it a couple months ago. I still enjoy it. I like it, but I understand why people find it boring. But just that world, man, I like it a lot. And it really pulls me in every time. But moving on to Glass Onion. So we both watched it. It was a great movie. I didn't write a lot of notes about this. I only wrote one very specific line of notes that we'll get to. But first, let's start spoiler free, and then we'll get into spoilers. So, first and foremost, it was just a really good movie. It was fantastic.
It was a really good movie.
You don't need to have seen Knives Out to understand it. There's only one returning character. Two returning actors, because there's a dude who's apparently in every single one of Rian Johnson's movies, and he's the random dude that's like walking around in the background throughout the film.
I was wondering what his point was. Yeah, I was like, I don't know what the point of him was. He was funny, but I was like, I don't get it.
I think that was just
like
point.
Probably some like meta like thing that I didn't.
Yeah, he's just in all of Rian Johnson's movies, so he's just there to be there.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But yeah, it's very well told. The mystery is you can all it takes is for you to notice something that they didn't want you to notice for you to figure it out. And the thing is, they throw you. Here's the thing: is they do set something in place to throw you off if you do notice it, and make you second guess yourself. But I'm glad I didn't notice it, because it low-key might have ruined my experience if I noticed it. But it's hard to talk about this movie without spoiling it, because it's a murder mystery. So honestly, we're just gonna get straight into it. Just know it's a great film. Honestly, it's like I do out of 5, so it's like either 4.5 or maybe even 5 out of 5. Damn near perfect, in my opinion. So, how do you like it? Spoiler free before we jump into the spoilers.
Solid 9 out of 10 for me. I thought that it was going to go a little bit different of a direction than it did. If you read Agatha Christie's And Then There Were None, I thought it was going to go that direction-ish, where, like, I can't really, I can't talk about it without spoiling it, but I thought it was going to go a slightly different direction. I'm kind of glad that it didn't, but I just really liked the movie. It's a really good movie.
Yeah, okay, so let's just jump into spoilers. So, what did you think it was going to be like, based on that novel?
Agatha Christie's and When There Were None, the premise is that these people are all invited to this mansion by a mutual friend, and they all of a sudden all start dying one by one, and the killer's among us. It's basically Among Us in novel form from like the late 1800s.
I low-key thought it was going to go that route too. I thought people...
Yeah, that's definitely how I thought it was going to be. I thought that more than just Duke was going to die. I thought like they were each going to start dying off individually.
Because when I was like, is this movie going to be like Werewolf? And then it wasn't.
Yeah. I was both a little disappointed, but not that it didn't go that direction. But like, I understand why they didn't do it, and I'm just as much a fan of the fact that they didn't than I would have been if they did.
I'm surprised.
It's such a good movie.
I'm surprised how much time they spent on that flashback. Because when flashback happened, I thought it was going to be a little quicker, but then it just kept going, and I was like, "Oh my god,
this goes so deep!"
Half the movie was like it was literally there was like 55 minutes left in the movie when the flashback started, and I was like, "There's a lot of time."
I had to check the Netflix timer because it started going. I was like, "Wait a minute, whoa!"
This flashback's still going.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. I was writing these notes live. Like as things were happening, I started writing these notes, and I wrote very short notes. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bullet points of notes. And I'm just gonna read them, and you can tell like how my emotions were going as I read it. I think it starts going a bit after the movie. So the first 3 happened while I was watching the movie, and the last 3 happened while I was afterwards. And it started with, I wish that Janelle Monáe's characters lived so that she becomes Block's partner. And then the second one is, she did survive, like I hoped. And then the third one was, she can be his Watson. So, and then the last 3 after that was, I saw a theory on Reddit that said that Helen is actually Andy, who survived and is pretending to be a fake twin. I don't think that's the case, but it would be a neat twist. And it was actually what I was thinking the moment Helen first showed up. When she first showed up and started talking in an accent, I was like, I feel like that accent is very clearly fake, and maybe he sees through it, and like that's not her sister, and that is just her trying to get revenge on the people who messed with her.
I also thought that she was faking a southern accent. I was like, why is she faking a southern accent right now at first?
Yeah, but I think it is just straight up her sister. But I think that they probably aren't going to do it. They're definitely going to make more movies, but I don't think they're going to do it. But it would be cool if she like became his Watson. Like the whole time I was just like, she's really good at this when she's drunk. Janelle Monáe, because I was honestly upset when she died. I was like, dang, they're just going. She's barely in this movie. I wish she was in this movie more. And then she was in the movie more than damn near anybody else. She like we said, that flashback went on for a very long time. She was in the movie a lot, and she played double duty. She played 2 different characters, or she played a character playing another character, which is even better. Like she was very good. She's probably my favorite character in this whole movie. Helen / Andy was amazing.
Yeah, Helen was dope.
And the whole time they're going through this, I'm like, man, I couldn't write something like this. This is you gotta really, like, writing this type of mystery is just, in my mind, it's just very, I couldn't imagine how it's done. Because I was watching Batman anime series, right? And I was watching the episode, I forget what it was called, but there's this character that is basically the Riddler. He's sending riddles, and he's setting up traps. But he's not the Riddler. And as I'm watching, I'm like, this should have just been the Riddler. In the air date order, this episode airs like a couple episodes before the Riddler is properly introduced. And I'm like, this could have just been a Riddler episode. But the reason they don't have a lot of Riddler episodes in anime series is because writing those mysteries and those traps and those puzzles and those riddles is just difficult. So I can only imagine how hard it is to write something like this film. Because I just can't imagine writing these types of mysteries. But yeah, any more spoiler-filled things you want to say?
Okay, so I definitely figured out that What's-His-Face was the killer, like, pretty quickly.
Yeah, he was my guess from the get-go.
What'd you say?
I thought he was the killer from the get-go.
Yeah, I thought he was the killer. As soon as Daniel, like, LeBlanc or whatever, brought him up to the Glass Onion and was like, well, you're giving everybody here a reason to kill you. I'm like, oh, so it's him. He's just the killer. Like, there's no reason that someone that rich would be that dumb and not have figured that out by now. That, like, oh, yeah, everybody here wants to kill me, and that we're all on a remote island. No, he was setting a trap. I'm like, there's no way that this guy was not setting a trap.
But yeah, the moment where did you notice him hand Batista the glass?
I did, yeah. I saw that the first time. I was like, that's important. I saw that and I was like, I wonder if they're gonna harken back to that because it was almost too obvious.
Yeah, when they mentioned that he picked up, I forget his character, Miles. When they mentioned that Batista picked up Miles' glass, I was like, I didn't see that. Should I rewind to go look? And then they showed a flashback, and I was like, oh, I don't need to rewind to go look at it. And if I would have, I would have spoiled myself because they did that on purpose. They showed the wrong thing. They showed him picking up Miles' glass after Miles set it down, but in reality, I didn't go back and look at it. I just took other people's word for it online that in the actual shot they show him handing him the glass, which is insane. But it's so quick. It's so quick.
Yeah, they do show him handing.
That even, and like I said before, if you notice it, they still try to trick you by showing a flashback where he doesn't hand him the glass, and it's such a small movement that you could easily see that and just go, "Oh, I guess he didn't hand him the glass." Did you think that when you saw the flashback?
No, when I saw the flashback, I was like, because in the flashback he sets it on the table and Dave Bautista picks it up like really quickly. I thought that was an editing mistake.
Yeah,
I thought because in the actual shot he hands him the glass, but like he was aiming at the table when he set it down, or like he was moving in the direction of the table when he set it down. And then in the flashback, he just straight up hands it to him, or he straight up like puts it on the table, and Dave Bautista picks it up like really, really quickly. And I'm like, maybe he didn't mean to do that. Maybe he meant to either put it down or hand it straight to Dave Bautista, and they messed up. But yeah, I thought it was an editing mistake or a mistake on the part of the actors and the filmmakers.
Yeah, how everything slowly unravels and how you think a lot of these people are oblivious for a very long time, and then you very quickly realize, oh no, they know a lot more than they're letting on. Except for that one lady, the model. She was just an idiot.
Oh yeah, no, she was.
She was the only person.
I think what really surprised me was Whiskey. How Whiskey actually was not like this, like complete, like
ditz.
I really thought what's her name? Whiskey was like, I'm trying not to say the word ditz, but like.
I mean, that's what they were definitely showing her as at first, and then they give you a scene to show like, no, she's a much more like well-rounded individual than you think she is.
Yeah.
And like she has goals and aspirations, and she's kind of just using these rich people to get what she wants.
Yeah, no, that was kind of surprising to me. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Oh, is it? When they were in the pool, they go to the edge of the pool. They make it seem like that she might be having an affair, but it turns out that they were just talking about the fact that they both already signed off on the deal for clear, which is like insane. Like until she mentioned the Hindenburg, I was like, I didn't, because I was thinking about like how bad this can be, and I was like, yeah, that I was like, how could this be bad? What could happen? And then she mentioned it. I was like, oh yeah, it's hydrogen. That's just something waiting to be exploded. She's right. Every home could just become a bomb. I did not think about that until she said the Hindenburg. And I was like, oh my God, that makes so much sense. That is so stupid. He's an idiot. And Blanc just lays it on thick at the end. Like, you're an idiot. You just kept using words wrong the whole day. And your whole claim to fame is just stealing ideas from people. And he's a very clear, he's clearly meant to be like Elon Musk. Because the thing is, I think
I'm glad that you said that.
Yeah, they don't make it. They don't straight up say it out loud, but they imply that he came from a family that already had money before he even, like, when he met them. Like, did you notice that?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, they implied that
he was already really well dressed, already had like nice clothes, nice hair when he met them at the bar, and like, yeah.
They implied that he was already rich when they met, so he kind of just used that money to help them until Andy came up with the idea for what is it called, Alpha, which is
Alpha.
They don't really show what it is. I feel like it's like a combination of Facebook and all the other stuff that Elon Musk does. That's what it felt like. And that scene, there was a scene where what's that tennis player's name? Serena Williams was just sitting there, and I was just like, that's random. And then she said, so are we gonna exercise? I was like, oh, that's just actually Serena Williams. They really just got her for that short cameo. And also Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for some reason was like one of Blanc's friends.
So was I forget what her name is. She played in a really good mystery show from the 70s, I want to say. I can't remember what it was called. Murder, She Wrote, that's what it was. They're the main actress from Murder, She Wrote. She died recently, which is really sad. But they had her as one of Blanc's friends, too, which I thought was hilarious.
They were playing Among Us. That's another thing that made me think that it was going to be like Werewolf, because they were playing Among Us. Like, they did that on purpose. They were trying to trick us. And they did a good job.
I love the fact that Blanc doesn't understand how Among Us works. That's just the funniest thing ever.
Yeah, he talks about how he doesn't understand how stupid things work. Like, he's just not good at games like that.
Also, Blanc's accent and like a lot of his lingo, I'm such a fan of it. Like, he was like, I put a dog in my life, talking about like he's acted rich before, and I was like, I like that.
Yeah, I haven't seen Knives Out, but I watched Blind Wave react to it, and what is it? And a lot of people talk about how his accent in that movie was good, but there were parts where it would like slip, and you would hear his original accent come out. But you can tell in this movie that he's gotten a lot better at it. I at least didn't hear any slips. It sounded perfect for almost the entire movie for me.
Same, yeah.
Yeah, you can tell he's been working on the accent. It sounded amazing. But yeah,
that's really weird for me to. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was saying it's really weird for me to see Daniel Craig in any role that's not James Bond, because like my first thought was like, just shoot everybody. But then I was like, this isn't James Bond. You can't just shoot everybody.
Yeah, the whole time I watched it, like, in my mind, I was sitting there thinking like, it's weird that he can't just beat everybody up.
That's what. Yeah, I'm like, no, James Bond would just bang, 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 bang. Like, I'm not worried about Daniel Craig in any movie because I don't think of him as anything other than James Bond. It's weird.
Yeah, it is strange. I'm excited to see what they would do next. A lot of people are mentioning like a train mystery or something like that, and I'm like, that's too easy. We've seen that done 1,000 times.
Something like the Orient Express. That'd be cool.
I want something different. I want something like those supposed things that might be happening eventually, like space tours. I want a murder on a space tour.
I feel like the problem with doing stuff like a train mystery and stuff like that is that they're doing Agatha Christie, Hercule Poirot movies already. They already did Murder on the Orient Express that did pretty well in theaters. They did Death on the Nile, and they're like continuing that movie series. I feel like just reflecting those movies or taking like the same plot as like those books or like the same ideas, those books and the premises. I'm not really sure that would work necessarily, just because like they're already doing those movies right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why I want them to do something different, because I don't want them to just do something that has been done before.
Yeah, I definitely want to see them do stuff differently. Because this movie, oh my god, it was so good.
It was very good. Yeah, I don't have much more to say. How about you?
I don't either.
Yeah, so we can move on. Let's talk about some of the Christmas movies and shows I've seen. So, when was the last time you saw Ed, Ed and Eddy?
I don't think I've ever watched Ed and Eddy.
Really? So, I used to watch the hell out of Ed and Eddy when I was a kid. And, yeah, I remember distinctly watching Jingle, Jingle, Jangle, the Christmas specials, when I was a kid. And I had been wanting to rewatch it. So, unfortunately, I couldn't find it on HBOmax, which the entirety of Ed and Eddy is on there, but I couldn't find this. So, but the entirety of it was just on YouTube for free. So, somebody they do, they're like separated into parts, but either way it was there and I watched it and it was great. It felt so good just like watching an early 2000s, like 90s cartoon that was just absurd. And there was this part where like Eddy's tongue is like stretched all the way out and he's like going down like an ice slide and he like sticks his tongue to it so it stretches out when he flies out the door. And it's just, I don't know, it was just this cartoon absurdity that I hadn't seen in a long time, because I don't feel like I see stuff like that in a lot of cartoons I watch nowadays. That just it was just pure nostalgia, just a nice slice of my childhood. It was great. Like I said, first time watching it in like a decade at the very least. So yeah, I liked it a lot. It's still good. I need to rewatch Ed and Eddy, and as well as I always associate Ed and Eddy with Codename Kids Next Door, because I watched those very closely next to each other. I feel like they might have aired, not aired. They obviously aired around the same time, but I mean like they came on around like back beside each other. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but yeah. Did you watch Codename Kid Next Door?
I watched the shit out of Codename Kid Next Door.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to rewatch that eventually. I'm pretty sure they had a Christmas special too. I might watch their Christmas special before I rewatch it. Klaus, the origin of Santa Claus. It was so good. It was so beautiful and heartfelt. I literally teared up several times. That's how wholesome it was. It was just pure wholesomeness. So it's essentially about a selfish, spoiled, rich son of a postmaster general who's sent to a town where two families are always feuding as punishment for his laziness, with the goal of creating a functioning post office, which several people have tried and failed. Like I said, very beautiful film. Made me tear up several times. Whenever I hear a good quote in TV or film or something like that, I jot it down. Not even just that. When I read it in a book or when I hear it in some video I'm watching, I like to jot down good quotes. And Klaus said in this movie that a true selfless act always sparks another. And, that's the moral of the story. The main character, Jesper, starts off convincing children to send letters to Klaus and get gifts in return for the sake of meeting his quota and returning to his cushy life. But through the process, he finds joy in making kids happy, and the joy that joy begins to heal the town itself. And it's just it just made me feel good. It made me happy. And like I said, it really helped me get to the holiday spirit. It was the first thing I watched when I woke up on Christmas Day. I was like, I'm going to watch Klaus. I got up and I watched Klaus, and it just made me feel good. And the holiday spirit just flowed through me. It was fantastic. You should check out Klaus one of these days. It's a very good film. But yeah, moving on to video games. Our last segment of the day. Well, you want to talk about any Christmas movies you saw?
White Christmas is my favorite Christmas movie. I love it so much, and I got to watch it yesterday, and it was amazing. And that put me in the Christmas spirit. White Christmas, Elton put me much in the Christmas spirit, but White Christmas and what was that Santa movie where he murders everybody?
Violent Night.
Yeah, Violent Night. Those put me in the Christmas spirit. I love those movies. Those are good movies. I got to watch our Christmas yesterday. That movie makes me tear up, honestly, every single time. I love it so much. But for some reason, and I don't know where this idea came from, it made me want to watch, or made me want to, see more, 1940s style detective stuff. And there's not enough 1940s style detective games. There's BioShock, and there's LA Noir, but that's really about it. And I feel like
I was gonna say you just want noir story.
Yeah, that could be. It doesn't even necessarily have to be as dark as a noir story, in tone, but it could, as long as it takes place in the 40s as a detective story, they could do that could be a really cool niche genre that we don't see enough of.
Honestly, I think a Dishonored style game in that type of setting would be really fun.
That would be a lot of fun.
Imagine that immersive sim style gameplay, but it's surrounding more stealthily sneaking around to find clues and find out different ways to solve a crime instead of different ways to murder a person or something like that.
I would like that a lot, but also I just remembered at the end of toward the end of the movie segment. I just watched a movie called The Nice Guys, which is really good, really funny, definitely not for children. Ryan Gosling and I forget who played Superman's dad in Man of Steel, not Jonathan Kent, but Jor-El.
It's in my head. It's right there. Oh, his name was right there. I'm so mad. He was in Gladiator. What is his name? He was also Zeus in Love and Thunder.
Russell Crowe. That's
Russell Crowe. There you go. My brain had his name right there.
Ryan Gosling plays an inept private detective who is the worst detective in the world, and Russell Crowe plays this guy who beats up people for a living. You pay him money if some guy's seeing your underage daughter and he beats them up. Like I said, this movie's not for kids. But they team up to find this missing adult film star who everybody wants dead. That's an action comedy. It's really funny. It's really dark, really not for kids. But I really liked it. It came out in 2016. It takes place in the 70s.
Where did you watch it?
It's just a fun movie. It is such a fun movie.
Where did you?
But it's on Netflix.
Okay, great. I'm gonna check that out.
It was in the suggestions right after I finished watching Knives Out, because I was just looking for more like detective movies, and it was in the suggestions like you might like right under it. It's such a fun movie. It's so dark. It came out in 2016. It's not gonna get a sequel because unfortunately it did like really bad box office. But oh my god, it's so fun.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that I also watched Die Hard because Die Hard is a Christmas movie. I don't care what anyone says.
I also don't care what anyone says.
It is like also like you watch it and it's like it very much emphasizes the fact that it's Christmas. It just feels like it's a Christmas movie. Like Christmas movies can be action movies. It's okay.
Like Violent Night.
Exactly. And it's a great movie. But some of the stuff just makes me angry because a lot of the characters other than John McClane and like Al are just idiots. They're all stupid. Like the police specifically and the FBI and the police are idiots in this movie, man. Like he calls them on an emergency channel. And you know what they say when they pick up the phone? Excuse me, sir, do you know this is an emergency channel? And he basically just says no shit. Like, yeah, I'm aware. Why do you think I'm calling you? It's an emergency situation. And she's like, I'm sorry, sir. I can't help you. What do you mean you can't help me? You're the police. I'm calling you for a reason. It was so stupid. It made me so mad. And then when the police finally get there, he just isn't listening to any of the information that John McClane is giving him. He's just like, yeah, right. Like a person fell out of the building. He could have just been committing suicide, despite the fact that somebody shot your car. And obviously, there's no way they're not connected. And if you just check the body, you would notice that he has bullet holes in him. It's just police in that movie are stupid. I love it, but I hate it.
Did you know that Die Hard was a book?
You said what?
I said, you know that Die Hard was a book?
I didn't.
I did not either until there's a YouTube channel who does this like series called Lost in Adaptation or something like that. And there's a lot of movies that I had no idea were books first. Like Rambo was originally a book. And apparently they are very different books. Like incredibly different. But yeah, Die Hard was Die Hard wasn't that different apparently. John McClane was basically just like an old man though. Like he wasn't young. Well, was Bruce Willis young? He wasn't as young as Bruce Willis.
Yeah, so he was in his early 30s. He was like 33.
Yeah, John McClane's book was pretty old. But yeah, no, it's just so interesting to me that it was originally a book.
Yeah, no, it was just weird seeing Professor Snape with a goatee. With the goatee. It was weird. But yeah, moving on to video games. Spider-Man 2 is confirmed to be releasing fall 2023. That's all I got. I'm excited for that game. Hopefully it doesn't get delayed, but I wouldn't be surprised if it does.
Wait, what game?
Spider-Man 2.
Oh, yeah.
So Armored Core 6, there's been an update from Miyazaki. He confirms that it is a reboot and that it will be mission-based and that the customization will be more important and more in-depth than in any other, like in any Souls game. And he clarifies that this isn't a Souls game. He says that it won't straight up be a Soulsborne, but it is a fresh start for the franchise and will likely make some core, no pun intended, changes to the formula. Yeah, I have no doubt that despite what he says, they will, even if it's subconsciously, bring in elements from previous games that they worked in. But at its core, again, no pun intended, it will still be an Armored Core game. So yeah, essentially they're saying like it'll be an Armored Core game. It'll be updated and there will be differences. There will be some changes, and you will notice them. And this is meant to be a reboot for the series. Like they're trying to bring the series back into the mainstream. But you know, like I said, it's still meant to feel like, you know, an Armored Core game for the veteran fans. So I came up with this idea.
I'm fully expecting the final boss to just be Gwen, and you fight him in a mech this time.
I was confused at first. I was like, "What are you talking about?" But I was very confused about notes for a second because it says Jedi Survivor. I was like, we already talked about that. But we got some more information about Jedi Survivor as well. So, in an interview from Game Informer with the game director Stig Asmussen, it's confirmed that Cal will be using a blaster in conjunction with his lightsaber. And it will be a fifth stance. So he won't just have four stance. He'll have a fifth stance that is kind of like why am I forgetting the name of the main character of Star Wars Rebels? Ezra. He's such a basic name. How could I forget that? Like Ezra uses his lightsaber after he, for some reason, no longer his lightsaber has his blaster connect to his lightsaber, which I hated. But like he'll be using his lightsaber and his blaster at the same time in a fifth stance. They also confirmed that the version with the crossguard is a separate stance and it is a heavy stance. They also do confirm that Bo Dakuna, the guy who is seen helping him out in the trailer, will be a buddy AI and will aid you in combat and traversal. And lastly, they also say that they're taking a wider Metroidvania approach, and that makes me think of like the most recent God of War games where like they show in the trailer that you have a mount. So it's gonna be still have that Metroidvania style where it's interconnected. It's not necessarily open world, and the more you learn new techniques, the other spaces you can unlock, and you can unlock shortcuts and stuff like that. But it'll be bigger and wider and allow a slightly closer to open world, but not necessarily open world type map. It's similar to God of War. So Street Fighter 6 had a beta, and I got access to it, and boy was it fun. So I was forcing myself to try and get good with the classic controls, but then I tried out modern controls, which are basically very similar to something like Smash Bros. Or Multiverses. We have a special button, and depending on what direction you press the joystick with the special button, you do your special moves. And yeah, it made it so much easier for me. And what was I gonna say? I was playing primarily Ken, like for majority of the time. I think it was like 3-day beta or like 4 days. And I played Ken for majority of the time because Ken is my favorite character. My second favorite character is Jury. On the last day, I played a little bit of Jury, and Jury was also very fun. But yeah, it was good, man. This convinced me that I'm gonna pre-order last minute like I always do, but I'm definitely gonna pre-order this game. It comes out I think in June. So yeah, I'm excited for Street Fighter 6. What were you gonna say?
I was just saying, as you should, when you said you played mostly Ken.
Yeah, Ken's great. But before we wrap up, just one last thing. I thought of a really cool idea. What if Supermassive, the studio behind Until Dawn, made a Scooby Doo game?
That would be awesome.
That would be amazing. So my idea is that instead of the mystery gang being at risk and you could potentially kill members of the mystery gang, because I don't feel like they would be allowed to do that, or they would want to maybe. Instead,
I don't think you should be able to kill gangs like the mystery gang. That's kind of messed up, man.
Yeah. Instead, it's people that are helping the mystery gang that are at risk of dying, and you have to try and keep them alive. I think that would be fun. And I mean, this is a pipe dream, but it would be cool if like the people that played the mystery gang in the movies were the actors from the James Gunn movies. That would be cool.
I'm sorry, James Gunn made the live-action Scooby-Doo movie?
Wait, you didn't know that?
No!
You sounded like Scooby when you said that, but how did you know that?
I had no clue. I love those. I've seen those movies like 3 billion times.
Oh my god, dude. I had no idea you didn't know that. How did you know that?
I never knew this.
Yeah, James Gunn directed both of them. Wow.
What?
So surprising. I didn't realize you didn't know that. I really want them to make a third one where it's just the older mystery gang. That would be so cool.
Oh my god, my mind is like actually blown right now.
Yeah, I feel like Supermassive Scooby Doo game would be really fun. But that's all I got. Anything to say about like Jedi Survivor or Armored Core or whatever before we wrap up?
Nothing to say about any of those, but you did remind me. I had an idea of like a live action Scooby Doo like TV show where like they'd be in high school, like late high school, maybe even early college. But like I don't remember the whole idea, but like they could combine Scooby Doo, the Hardy Boys, and like Nancy Drew. Like I just want to see that like all three of those. And I want to see that crossover. That would be really cool.
Yeah, I feel like you gotta throw Archie in there somewhere.
That would be sick. Why didn't the CW do that? The CW decided to go a completely different route. That would have been like the coolest thing ever.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like CW could make a fun Scooby Doo live action show.
I do too. I really do. I feel like Scooby Doo is right up there, alley.
Yeah, I feel like low key.
I feel like
It's weird because what Riverdale is basically kind of like Scooby Doo.
Yeah, I feel like that's what they should have done. Scooby Doo.
And I mean, it's the same. They're under the same company.
Are they both under Hanna-Barbera?
No, they're under WB, and WB owns Hanna-Barbera now.
Oh, I didn't know that. Well, actually, that makes sense because around Halloween, I was having like a major Scooby Doo crisis where I was watching everything Scooby Doo, and it was all WB. That makes a lot of sense. I don't know why I didn't do that. Oh, that reminds me. Did you know that the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles live action ones are on Netflix?
Yeah, they're on HBO too.
Okay, cool. I didn't know they were on HBO. I was panicking because they're about to get taken off of Netflix like in 2 days.
Yeah, I watched the first one not too long ago. I need to get around to watching Secrets of the Ooze. You were talking about the
Have you not seen it?
No, I've seen it before.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to watch it again. I haven't seen it in a long time. I
love all three of them.
I might watch the third one. Who knows? I didn't mention it. Well, I guess I'll mention it now. But I haven't also been continuing to watch Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Have you checked out any of that show?
I've seen a little bit of it. I don't like it.
That's understandable. But I would implore you to, at the very least, you maybe check out the movie.
I'll check out the movie. I'm not a fan of the show.
I'm
I will
really
check out
big
the
fan of the show.
But I'm not a fan.
I think that I like the show a lot. I think it got unnecessary hate. I think it's a really good show, and also I like the art style. I like the different take on the turtles and the way they look and stuff. And Raph being a leader. But also I like the action. It easily has some of the best action. Not some of the best. The best action in any animated Ninja Turtle show. It's beautiful. Like visually stunning. But I understand.
It is very good.
Yeah, I understand not being too big of a fan of it because it is different. And it definitely has a lot of like modern cartoon comedy, which can get annoying sometimes.
See, now my favorite TMNT is still and always will be the 2012 one. I don't care what anyone says. The best Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle show.
Yeah, mine is 2003. It's just so much nostalgia there.
I do like 2003. I do like 2003. 2012, I grew up with that one, and it still holds up. Like going back and rewatching 2012, where I'm like, there's no way it's as good as I thought it was. It really is.
Have you read any of the? I know you're not a big Power Rangers fan, but have you read any of the Turtles Power Rangers crossovers?
No, the only reason I even knew they had one was because you posted it on your story.
Yeah, I think it would make a really good animated movie, like how they did the Batman TMNT movie.
Yeah,
that would be fun. But let's wrap this up. I'm Dijon. You can find my ads below me. You can find a Mustard Guy's ad below Amir, and his ad below. No, his ad is below him, and then a Mustard Guy's ad is below that. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel if you want to see more storytelling content, and to click the notification bell so that you're notified when we post. Peace.